Okay, why not? Let's just go live. Welcome everybody to the stream. I know more people will come as soon as this thing gets, really populated and YouTube pushes it out. So I'll start with the boring stuff. You see this light display behind me? It's a giant Christmas tree, and it's literally right outside my hotel room. Like, I'm not sure the current situation in here is doing it justice, how bright that actually was, like last night when I first showed up. Um, I put the blackout curtains on. Luckily, that did the trick. Otherwise, like, when I turn off all the other lights, it gets really red in here. Yeah, that's like shining right in the window. So we're good with that. We're dealing with it. It's no big deal, actually. It's not even a problem. Rabbi the Daddy says that's a game misconduct and missing the next pregame live. How do you know that already? How do you know I'm not going to be back tomorrow or Wednesday? Isn't the next Sharks game on Wednesday? It is. Excuse me. Okay, can you hear me again? We good? Yeah, we're good. All right. Had to check there. Had to hit the mute button. Had to clear the throat a little bit. Jaden, hello. Jesus, saludos to you too. The weather is interesting here. The weather is warm in the daytime, like warm in the sun. It was overcast in the morning, but sun came out. You're on like the verge of sweating if you're walking around and doing stuff, carrying things. And then, I don't know, within the last couple hours, as soon as the sun went down, the temperature dropped to probably 50s, something like that. So not terrible at all, but I mean, I know 50s for California, right? Like that's not in our range generally even, but no, it's all good. Much love from a Giants fan, Tyler. Wow, I really appreciate that. I mean, I think we're big enough to be able to see past our differences, right? Zach, thanks for the shout out when you were at the game in Ottawa. That's no problem, buddy. We saw you during warm-ups, before warm-ups maybe. They said, hey, we got a shot of the Zach man coming up. I said, fantastic. It was good to see you. Jenny, hello. Sharks fangirl, hello. Leal-tastic, or is it Lee-L-tastic? When is Murph getting traded? That seems inevitable, doesn't it? I talked to David Force today, talked to Mark Kotze today. Apparently the phone is ringing off the hook, and not just for Murph. There are a lot of teams, like right now. I would say in these 3 days here, you will have the total amount of phone calls made since the season ended, like for baseball and trades and talks and stuff. You will have all the amount of trade talks up until this point. If that's a certain volume, you'll have that many talks and conversations and all that stuff within the next 48 hours. By Wednesday, this is all conversation and speculation being shot through a fire hose, instead of a garden hose, how it normally comes out. So it's a lot. Boy, there's a lot of people in the lobby. I can't say I spent too much time hanging out there at all. There's a lot of standing around and sniffing around. I'm going to be honest. I've actually never been to winter meetings before in all the years, right? In all of the how many trips to spring training or different things, right? Road trips or playoff games, whatnot. But I've never been to baseball winter meetings. So this is all kind of a new experience for me. And yeah, I know what I'm doing and I know the things that we're accomplishing work-wise, but I'm looking around like, what is everybody else doing here? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? I'm not saying people like things are happening. I'm not sure what's actually happening. GMs are talking. That's what's really happening. But in the media landscape, what's actually happening here? We're waiting. Let's be honest. That's what it really is. It's hang around and wait. That's what it is for most media. And look, if you're in a situation like the Giants are, right? And I heard Aaron Judge was going to be showing up tomorrow. Now, I don't mean like showing up to the lobby of Winter Meetings. I just mean they've said he's arriving in San Diego. To talk to who? Farhan Zaidi and the Giants? I don't know. He's talking to somebody. He's coming here for a purpose. Like, you don't fly into Winter Meetings to do nothing. So, again, it's one of those deals where things are happening, but they're not happening every 2 seconds. And we don't know what's going to happen. Then maybe that's kind of the beauty of it. You know, is it everybody's here? Like, what are you all going to do? Brody, do I want Matt Chapman back? Of course I do. Jesus says, congrats to the Hall of Famer, Fred the Crime Dog McGriff. You know what's a crime, speaking of that, is that he did not get elected the conventional way through the Baseball Writers Association. I made a video about Barry on my channel a couple days ago here, and it's to really no surprise that the writers, I'll say this, you look at the 10 years of their voting for him, and it started at around the 30% range. He got about 30% of the necessary votes. You got to have 75 to get in. 31%, 34%, 54%. It got all the way up to about 60, 65%. In his 10th and final year of eligibility with the writers, he was only about 10% away. His percentage doubled in those 10 years. So they certainly saw either a different side or they changed their mind. I mean, the voting results drastically changed over 10 years. And so now you get to the Eras Committee. I forget the exact name of it, but it's 16 individuals, former players, executives, umpires, managers, and he needed 75% of that 16-person panel vote. He needed 12 votes to get in. He didn't. I'm talking about Barry. But to be honest, that seems like the more righteous way for him to get in anyway, right? Because the media, now when I say the media, it's the baseball writers. They said long ago, they gave the obvious impression that we don't want you in here. And granted, do they have the exact reasoning of, well, we think you cheated? Yeah, they have that going in their case, right? And that's obvious to the point that they're making with their votes. But how much of it was sheer personality and disagreement? And look, I can't argue for and against that, but I will say the hardest part about the baseball writers having that majority vote and being the primary way into the Hall of Fame, that's a huge gatekeeper responsibility. And I'm a person, who works in the media, and I'm not sure I like the media having that much control over the Baseball Hall of Fame, and I realize I totally get it. It's been that way for a very long time. Many decades it's been that way. I think since the Hall started, was that in the 20s or the 30s? So we're talking about, almost 100 years it's been this way. But also, you look at the baseball writers, and what's not included are, even broadcasters. And let me first be clear here. I'm removing myself from the conversation. I'm not trying to get a Baseball Hall of Fame vote. Not at all. I'll never have one and be totally happy with that. Honestly, that is the case. But aren't there enough educated minds and observers out there in the world of baseball who are, a radio announcer or a television analyst or, somebody who works in and around the game and sees it on an everyday basis, sees the inside and outside of it, but they're not a writer, so they'll never have the opportunity to vote? It's obviously been kept to a very exclusive club. Those in the electronic media have never been invited into it. And I'm not saying that as a bitter sense. I'm really not. I want no part of this personally. But I do think that widening out the media's, if it is going to be a media representation, first off, we're talking about, a certain slice of the pie, not even the whole pie. Let alone, it's great that they've implemented this player committee, because this is another way. This is like a backstop, like a back door into the Hall of Fame if the front door isn't appropriately opening for you. The contemporary ballot. Tyler, thank you for... It's like the baseball contemporary era committee. Is that what it is? I said it the other day. I mean, I did all the presentation on it. Now I can't even remember exactly what it's called. Oh, Zach, that's a fantastic idea. You should dress like Ron Burgundy. You stay classy, San Diego. I never thought about that. Oh, but I will tell you, I will actually share this with you. And when I share this with you, you're also going to see that my iron has been already put to use behind me. Let me show you what I got today. Hang on a second here. All right. Everybody ready for this? Picked a little something up today. Shout out to the Padres. Oh, yep. Bomel's first postseason with the Pods. I picked up a little shirt today. There you go. That's my National League team. No hate on the Giants, right? It's a Bob Melvin thing. That's what it is. Ooh, Brian McComiskey? Is it McComiskey? Is that your name, Brian? Commercial check ride on Wednesday. Ooh, you're a pilot. Congrats to you on getting to this part of the training. Being a commercial pilot's a big deal, and you're doing your check ride. Here's my tip. And the examiner might, tell you this or imply this, but what you're doing is a check ride to be a professional pilot, right? So look, appear, act, fly like a professional. I know, that's my last minute tip. It's not a great one, but that's the biggest thing that they will try and instill in you, is that they are going to certify you to be a professional pilot. That's what the commercial pilot certificate is all about. So, fly like you've got 30 passengers in the back. Smooth, crisp, decisive, be 3 steps ahead of the curve. Just have a real polish to your flying. I think that's, among all the maneuvers and, chandelles, lazy eights, all that stuff, I would say PTS, but it's not PTS anymore, is it? The ACM stuff, fly like a pro. And that is my biggest tip. In addition to, all the tolerances and standards and, the practical exam, the questions you're going to get asked, but just come across professional. That's my biggest and best tip. Blue Pro 3, how is San Diego treating me? I'll tell you what, great so far. I love it here. It's funny, I was walking around earlier today, shooting a little something on Petco Park, which, by the way, I can't wait for everybody to see this. Petco Park is an absolute blueprint of what Howard Terminal should and could be for the city of Oakland. Now, it's not identical, right? San Diego is just much more built up already, but that's in a totally different part of town. This area, and I'm pointing over here to where Petco Park is, this area was desolate 20 years ago. I mean, right before construction happened, there was not much happening right next to the gas lamp district. It was barren, uninhabited, underutilized, all the above. And this area benefited and catapulted because of the ballpark. Now consider this. San Diego, right, when the Padres were playing at, I'm not going to call it Qualcomm, I'll call it Jack Murphy Stadium. The Padres were needing a new home. Jack Murphy had, it was a football stadium too. It was well beyond its lifespan too. There's no question about it. I went to Super Bowl, was that 37? I went to Super Bowl 37 over at Jack Murphy. So obviously the Padres were still playing there, but they were in the process of about to move into Petco by 2004. So that was 2002, I think, when that Super Bowl happened. Anyway, but it was, that stadium was outdated then. And it's just like the Coliseum, and the situation is just like Oakland and San Diego have this. They've already had pro basketball teams leave their town. They've already had an NFL team up and leave their town. And so now baseball is what's left. And Petco Park went into a neighborhood just like, Howard Terminal, just north of Jack London Square. There are some things you could see how it would all happen if you put the centerpiece in place. And so that's kind of, I did a little lap around. What was I even saying? Somebody asked me, do you like it here? And I was like, actually the person said, where are you from? Bay Area. Do you like it here? Yeah, I like it here. I really do. And I love the Bay Area. That's where I'm from. That's, 40 plus years of history and love for the Bay Area. I've never been anywhere else. But I really like it here. I really do. And the ballpark, the setup, the weather is obviously, quite perfect too. And not a knock against Los Angeles, but this is also definitely not Los Angeles. I think those of you who've been here know that. San Diego is its own thing. Anyway, going back to, the blueprint thing. If you've ever been to a Padres game here at Petco, you understand what they've done here and how it directly translates to what the A's could do in Oakland at Howard Terminal. So, Brian, good luck. Good luck when you do the check ride. I'll go back to that. I saw your second comment. Zach saying Oakland has a long way to go for a rebuild. Well, they tore down pretty hard. And the thing about baseball in a rebuild is this. Okay, so like the A's might, they're in the draft lottery, which is tomorrow. 17% chance that they get the number one pick. But let's just say, hockey and baseball have this in common where it's not like the NFL. You get that number one pick in football, your guy is on your team next season. In basketball, your number one pick, if he's a number one pick, he might even be on your starting five next year. But he's definitely on your team, your top pick. Maybe not your third rounder in the NBA. Maybe they're going to the G League or whatnot. But, baseball, and that's why the rebuilds take a while, right? And also the A's in their division right now, holy smokes. You got DeGrom. You got obviously the Rangers. They spent $500 million last year, and they're back at it again this year. You've got the Astros. Did they do anything in October? Yeah, like win the World Series. You had the Mariners go to the playoffs for the first time since 2001. You've got the Angels with what are those guys' names? Ohtani and Trout. So you've got a very complicated situation. The division, your retooling, the ballpark. Man, there's a lot of things to sift through there. Kevin wondering, where's the most random place someone has recognized you? At some airports sometimes, but I don't mean like Oakland or San Francisco or San Jose. I mean like, was it in Puerto Vallarta once, and I don't even know if the person was on our flight headed back to the Bay Area. Stuff like that. I kind of honestly expect it at any turn. I was in Hawaii about a month ago, and we landed at the airport and got off, but I think it was somebody from our plane that took off from San Jose. So I'm not surprised. The hardest thing though with that is that I don't know it's coming. I have to instantly recognize like, oh, I don't know you personally. You recognize me, and I appreciate it, but I'm caught off guard a little bit because sometimes it's, hey Brody, who, where, like who knows me, or what's going on here. So I have to instantly figure out the situation, understand that it's a stranger, but it's somebody familiar, and I want to be nice. So my biggest fear is that I'm not I don't give it enough time, or I'm curious. Who are you? What's your name? Like, are you a Sharks person? Are you an A's person? I really want to know. But then a lot of times I don't have time. I'm carrying a car seat and 2 bags and whatever. So I always appreciate the recognition, or people even saying, hey, keep it up. It means the world to me. It really does. I always feel guilty though because I don't. I don't know it's coming. I have to process it for a second, and then I'm hoping that in retrospect that I was, I did the moment justice. Probably the best way to put it. So I don't know where the most random place is, Kevin, but it happens, and you know, I don't. It's not even random anymore. I don't know that there is a random place. I was thinking about it though. There have been some other places where it's happened where I'm like, really? Um, Blue and gold Throg. Wasn't Bob Melvin a catcher for the Giants years ago? Oh, not just years ago, decades ago, centuries ago. You know what? I told Bomel about a month ago when I was coming down here that we gotta meet up. So I will see him for sure tomorrow on official work business, but it's not the work business that I care to see him on personal business. I want to know how he's doing. Tyler, Jenny didn't know that. Jenny didn't know that Bomel was a Giants catcher. Yes, he was. Eddie wondering, is Sean Murphy going to be traded? I think quite simply, it's inevitable. It is. The body language I got from David Forst and even Mark Kotze, and also too, the pipeline, right? You've got Shea Langoliers, you've got Tyler Soderstrom, you've got the opportunity maybe to bring in another veteran to help Langoliers through this season. They talked about being confident. They talked about being confident in Langoliers this season. Sorry, I was distracted because I saw Eddie's comment. Well, all right, I see some other ones here, but let me just get to Eddie's because that caught my eye and I got distracted. Which one of you on pregame last night says, who cares when bringing up Jimmy G was done for the year? That was definitely Curtis. I brought it up as like our hockey game was so frustrating. Like, let me bring up some. I mean, I know no 49er fan wants to hear that, and I don't want to hear it for Jimmy either. I didn't say that, and I don't know that I heard that. But if you did hear it, I mean, I was also talking at the same time. It's probably Brownie. I think. Okay, well, let me go up because there's some better questions here too. I think with Jimmy Garoppolo, what's so just amazing is that now a team has gone through two quarterbacks of similar injuries, like severity-wise, and where it is on the body, and now you've honestly got a quarterback with a story, and like a storybook story, being Mr. Irrelevant, last draft pick, but you still have a loaded team, a great defense. You've got a Christian McCaffrey to throw to and to hand off to, and obviously Kittle, and you've got a well-built team. It's a team sport. Don't get me wrong. Your quarterback, your goalie, your starting pitcher, these are all individual performers in team sports. Like, they mean a lot. But I'm really curious to see what the 49ers can do the rest of the way. Like, I realize it's not the same. The odds are not the same. The expectations are, but the reality's not. What a story it would be if they make some incredible, miraculous run. And it would only at this point be miraculous because Trey Lance, then Jimmy Garoppolo, and now look where they're at. So, in a way, things did get a certain amount worse, right? Like, your number one got hurt, then your number 1A got hurt, and now you're down to like number 3, essentially. They got significantly worse, but they got way, way, way more interesting than it did worse, if that makes sense. Zach wondering, with a hockey question here, do I think back-to-backs should still be a thing? They have to be. Building availability, travel, the condensed nature of a schedule. You got to play, 82 games in however many, days it is from basically October, early to mid-October until April. So you've got to fit it in. Sometimes there's no other way. You've got to fit in some years an Olympic break. Every year now you have to fit in a certain week. Every team gets a week off mandated by the league, a couple days off around the Christmas holiday. So it has to be a thing. Like, I don't see another way that they don't do it. That being said, the fact that the Sharks have already played 6 back-to-backs, they haven't even played 30 total games yet. Was last night game 28? Yeah, it was 28. So 12 of their games have been part of a back-to-back. 12, almost half of their games. Think about that for a second. I know 12 is not entirely half. It's not exactly half of 28, but it's pretty close. So 6 times 2, 6 back-to-backs gets you those 2 games. So 12 total games, whether it's the first or second of a back-to-back. And yeah, 2 were from Europe, and the other 2 were a Friday, Saturday at the tank, so no travel. But, other teams have been playing 1 back-to-back so far, 2 back-to-backs, not 6. And I think there's only 1 or 2 more the entire rest of the season. So that does taper off. Are you asking, should they still be a thing? They have to be. But I would also say, and you know what? They do make the season and the sport more interesting. What is a team going to bring that next night? I realize that's not how it goes in the playoffs, but this is the regular season, and yeah, it is kind of a gauntlet, and maybe I do like to see that in a weird, certain way. Maybe I do like to see that. Am I hearing anything around the hotel, and how's it going down there? Well, Bryce, the way it's going is that the lobby is just like a hangout zone, and yeah, there's all the familiar faces you would expect from the baseball world and realm down there, conversating, sometimes doing, on camera little hits. Where's my microphone here? Like, whoa, let's drop the hard drive. Got the old microphone out, doing the whatever they're doing, like whatever I'm doing when I do it. A lot of scrolling, a lot of people doing this or looking around or sipping the coffee. But yeah, it's hard to describe. Now, granted, like, when Trey Turner news happens, or if and when Aaron Judge news happens, I mean, I can't imagine what that lobby is going to look like. I probably won't be there, but I can't imagine what it's going to look like. There are separate breakout areas in the huge ballrooms that they use to put, like today, Mark Kotze at a little seated spot, in front of not a podium, but a desk, and he answered questions, and every other manager in the league is going to get their chance between today and tomorrow to answer questions. But as for the lobby, it's not my thing. Hey, by the way, I'm just noticing here on my computer that the stream kind of went to poop in terms of a video quality. Am I all fuzzy right now? Let me know how it's looking and sounding to you at home. It seems like it might have improved there for a second, but it got really bad really quick. All right, let's see what else we got here. Man, there were some good comments here, and I'm so sorry that I skipped through some of them. David Roska? I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. David, let's go Ducks. It's all about Anaheim. You just you just take your Zegras highlights and just enjoy those, and I don't want to hear much more about it, all right? Anaheim's not that much better off than San Jose is right now. Only the Kings, actually, have really resurfaced of the California teams. Brody, do you think the Rays will move to Montreal, or will they get an expansion team? I'm not sure how close Montreal is. I think that whole conversation of Tampa splitting its season, Tampa first half, Montreal second half, that will never and should never fly. To me, that's ridiculous. If I'm a player on the Rays, and you're telling me that, oh yeah, halfway through this year, you're going to have to uproot your entire living situation, family, whatever, and you're going to play the rest of your home games, All-Star break on in a different country? The benefit of having home games is having half your season sleeping in your own bed, not in a hotel randomly across the country night after night. So I I just think logistically, I mean, I'm not saying I don't want Montreal to benefit. I'm just saying logistically, I think that's a terrible idea. I hope this split never happens. Now, as for Montreal getting its own team back again, you got to build a new stadium, Olympic Stadium, or it has to be totally redone. No question about that. So I don't, yeah, I mean, it would probably take an expansion team, but I got to be honest with you. What I see in expansion for Major League Baseball is definitely Nashville and maybe Las Vegas. What? Maybe Las Vegas? No, I don't want the A's to move there. I'm saying expansion to Las Vegas. And I'm not even sure that expansion is a guarantee. I'm saying that the A's and all of their learnings and negotiations and research and anything that they've done in Las Vegas, I mean, it probably has proved some things. Like, if you go down there, I don't think you're going to build a new stadium in Summerlin. I don't think you're going to build a new stadium in Henderson or North Las Vegas or any of the surrounding suburbs. I think if you're going to go to Las Vegas, you literally need to have your ballpark on the Strip. Now, opportunities all seem to be in that quadrant where Allegiant Stadium is, where T-Mobile Arena is, where apparently they also now want to build an NBA stadium. And there would be a baseball stadium. We're talking about, I mean, think about the crossover. If there's 4 events at the same time, how much of a mess that would be. It's also right next to where the airport currently is. I'm also thinking, too, that in Las Vegas, if I own land and I control opportunity, I mean, what's the going rate for land in Las Vegas? Or what do I have to give up to get that acreage to put a baseball stadium there? You know, Las Vegas is commonly looked at as being, easier than Oakland, but just flat out easy to get to, like, move your team there like the Raiders did. I'm not entirely sure that that's the case. Is Dave Stewart at the winter meetings? Stu is here. Yes, he is. Jenny says, man, I love Murphy. I hate to see him go elsewhere. Yeah, I'm with you. Totally. And we really didn't get a lot of Murph, did we? 2019, he came up at the very end. He played in the one wild card game. 2020 was a wipeout season altogether. He played in most of the 60 games. 2021, I think he played 120 games in 21. Something like that. But obviously that season, the team unraveled and just a lot of things. And then last year, you lose 102 games. It was about as uphill of a battle as it gets. And then Sean Murphy is asked to do a whole bunch of new things. Like, oh, hey, we need you to hit cleanup. Oh, hey, this staff looks a lot different than what you're used to working with. So I actually respect the hell out of him for taking on higher expectations and roles and doing quite well with them. I mean, he won a Gold Glove in 21, was a finalist here in this last season, 22. Murph's going to be great. I don't think we even understand his entire potential yet. Thanks, by the way, on the update of the video quality. Bryce says, I'm good. Tyler says, you look great. I don't know about that, Tyler. Julian's got it right. It looks fine. It's not great. It's just fine. You can. By the way, nobody was tuned in at the very beginning of this, but I explained that Christmas tree structure thing. It's outside in between the 2 towers of the hotel. And when I walked in here last night, it was past midnight, and everything was dark. But the room was like all red. Like if I turn off all these lights, it's like all red behind me, because that light is just shining through. I'm like, oh no, will I be able to sleep? Sure enough, blackout curtains. By the way, I'd like to proclaim myself king of the blackout curtain. I love blackout curtains. That's usually, I do a couple things when I'm in a hotel room. I should make a video on this. I'm going to write that down. You know what? Pro tips in a hotel room. Maybe I'll just shoot the video tomorrow. Pro tips in a hotel room. So I would say number 1 is blackout curtains. I'm just literally writing this down. Number two is to actually iron all your stuff the moment you get here. Like the first moment you have free time. You check in, you want to rest. Don't rest. No, no, no. Oh, by the way, I'm just getting a text here, a work text. Let me stand by from the personal business. All right. First thing you got to do when you get to your hotel room, iron all the clothes, because then you're ready to go. Like they're all the shirts I might need, because you don't know what shirt you're gonna wear when. You don't want to be like, oh no, I gotta go and I need to. This way you're ready. Now this iron, a Voyager? Ooh, this is not a Rowenta. Drew Remenda would not. But you know what? It did a fine job. A lot of steam. It's by Courtesy Products from St. Louis, Missouri. Made in China. It's got the retractable cord, which is always appreciated, although it's not. Of course, when I say that, it's not retracting. It steamed well. It really did. Oh, here's the other pro tip. I had more of a synthetic material shirt. Oh, looks like the signal was breaking up there. I had a more of a synthetic material shirt, and I didn't want to put the iron on it, so I hung it in the bathroom when I took a shower. Got the water really hot, steamed up the room. No wrinkles on the shirt anymore. So here, my hotel pro tips. Hotel tip. I'll have to figure out what to call the video. But blackout curtains, iron first. What else? Oh, I use the luggage thing, like the luggage rack. Some people just throw their suitcase on the bed. Like I use the luggage rack. You know, to put your luggage. I'll put that in there. Luggage rack. I probably need like 5 things. I got a lot of hotel pro tips. I also like to keep all my stuff in like a confined space. I don't want to leave anything here. I don't want to lose it. Let me know, by the way, if any of you have good hotel pro tips here. Man, this internet is just not liking me. At least the internet here from my my computer. It seems like the stream is going fine. Sorry, I'm texting somebody back. That was rude. It's rude of me to be on this live stream and be like, hang on, gotta go. Let's get back to the questions here. Wow, I missed a bunch of good questions here. Saw your video on the potential of Barry Bonds getting into the Hall. That did not happen. Did I see the results? Yes, I did. Thoughts on the results? Not a popular Dodger fan. Thought, but I think it's a crime if he's not in the Hall of Fame. I would have to agree. Look, I'm an A's guy. You're a Dodger person. I'm an A's guy. And I think we all recognize that, steroids never helped Barry like actually hit a baseball. They might have helped him physically recover over time. And I don't know. How about the pitchers he faced? Were they benefiting from steroids? There's so many questions to be answered here about this. And I don't know. His personality probably played into this. The fact that you only have a 10-year voting window, and it's like, well, that's your chance, and if you miss it, you're done. I mean, make it a 20-year voting window. He would, looking at the trend, in another 2 or 3 years, the baseball writers might have voted him in. All right, I need to look up something again. I need to look up where something is. Somebody was telling me recommending a place to eat. Okay. Who in the national media are you excited to see in San Diego? Nobody. They don't need to see me. I don't need to see them. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, that was, sorry, that question was from a long time ago. Wow, I'm way behind now. Uh, let's see what else we got here. Anything on the Miami Marlins? I got nothing. Cobra, any Padres news? I got nothing. Well, I'll talk to Bo Mel tomorrow. How about that? Loud helicopter outside. That's a common trend out here. A lot of military aircraft near downtown. What have I been hearing so far about the A's Stadium situation? Nothing. This is a pure baseball event. It doesn't necessarily have the business side of it. Now, that being said, I think there are some questions to be asked. I officially was turned down for the Rob Manfred interview by the commissioner's office. So, sad face on that. I just, you know what? We're team partners. NBC is with the A's. The A's are a major league team. I mean, there's a huge partnership here, and I don't take it personally because Rob doesn't know me from, a hole in the wall. But it's one of those things where I would like the opportunity to ask what I think are important and intelligent questions, and he'd probably just rather not say anything about it because maybe in his mind, anything he says has previously got him into some hot water. So, the Christmas lights, says Jenny. Julian says, are you a coffee guy, tea guy, or soda/energy drink guy in the morning? Coffee. I'll drink tea later on in the day. Energy drinks and soda. I used to, but I haven't drank soda in more than 20 years now, I think. When do I think Judge is going to sign? Well, I mean, if he's really going to be here tomorrow, like tomorrow night, I expect it to happen. And when this is my everybody drops what they're doing, and I don't know. But why would he come all the way out here to be like, I love the Yankees? What? Why is he even coming here? What? Is he actually going to sign the papers here? Can he do that? Matt wondering, will I be going on A's Cast? I will be going on A's Cast tomorrow actually tomorrow morning, I think. 10:30? 11:30? Watch for social media. Tomorrow morning, I will be on A's Cast. Oh, if you like a good breakfast place, try Snooze. I've had Snooze. It's killer. Like Rudy's Can't Fail Cafe, only better. I've had Snooze in Boulder, Colorado. They have a Snooze here? I'll have to check that. Maybe on my last day when I'm really trying to fill up. Snooze is in San Diego. All right. I think I might have got to the end of the chat here, and I'm sorry to go, but it is that time. So I appreciate everybody for being here, for joining me. Probably do this again tomorrow night. There's multiple snooze here. There's snoozes here. I look forward to that. Speaking of food, I'm starving, and I've got to get something to eat. So I'm going to go, and I look forward to talking to all of you once again very soon. All right? I can't really give you a scenic shot. That's not going to work right now, so I'll just sign off here. All right. Be well, be safe. Good night, everybody. And check out some other videos here on my channel before you go. I got some good stuff on there I think you're going to like.